Quidel. Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and do the celebration speech tonight. To many of us, there's a special president, one that goes above and beyond and holds a special place in our heart. Whether that be a president that we have seen in person, that we've felt with personally, like Obama or George Bush in my generation, or somebody that is in a past generation that has inspired us, that is someone that we can really grow truthful to. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a president that served over 4 terms and actually died in office. He is one of the greatest presidents of the 20th century, if not of the entire office's existence. In 1932, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt took office, there was, according to the White House biography on him, there was 13 million people that were unemployed at that point in time. Franklin Delano Roosevelt took amazing strides to ensure that this was taken care of and that this was beneficial and that people were able to recuperate and recover from the Great Depression that they were suffering from. He, according to the FDIC website, the National Bank Act of 1933 insured each bank account up to $100,000 in insurance. Basically, you put your money in. If the bank collapses, all of your bank account is insured up to $100,000 to ensure that Americans have faith and trust in the United States and as well as the American banking system. Not only was the economy shattered because of the Great Depression, but farming as well had been suffering since the 1920s. FDR took major steps in farming and agriculture to ensure that they never fell into this slum, that these tenant farmers didn't have these problems that they were having. According to Philip Pope from Texas Tech University, FDR, a part of his New Deal program was that he actually created the AAA, which is the Agricultural Adjustment Act, which basically ensured, he told farmers, plow up your crops, we'll pay you for those additional crops. Created a standard in order to make the prices rise and make the demand rise for those crops. Rather than overproduction, we had a bare minimum, so supply met demand to ensure that that was correct. He also created the CCC as a part of the New Deal, the Civilian Conservation Corps, which helped to start basic recycling programs and ensure that civilians were getting the most that they could. FDR entered the presidency at a time of crossroads and desperation, at a time when America was down at its lowest point, and he helped raise America from the bottom and brought it up to the top, to a world superpower, something that we can all be proud of. You know, in his first inaugural address, he states, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Imagine being a worker who has not had a job for 6 months. Imagine being a 6-year-old child and hearing those words for the first time. My grandmother was one of those 6-year-old children, and she said that those words, "we have nothing to fear except fear itself," are the words that instilled in her the faith and the hope that things would get better, that this was not the end, that it was only the beginning, and that we could only move forward from there and become one of the national superpowers and one of the greatest nations in the world. FDR's declaration of war, in his second declaration of war, he says, "With confidence in our armed forces, with unbounding determination of our people, we will gain inevitable triumph, so help us God." Of course, this is after the attack in World War II on Pearl Harbor, the surprise attack. This keynote speech that he gives, asking the Congress to approve a declaration of war, is his call to arms, which in French means to arms. And this speech is his capstone as being basically his le mercier, his call to arms, to arm citizens, arm yourself, go to the factories, go to work, become a stronger and better place. We celebrate this courageous president who gave his life, who gave everything that he had. He answered the call to America. He sacrificed not only himself, but he went through everything else that every other American was suffering and pushed forward. And for that, FDR is one of the most celebrated presidents that we could ever have. And there's such a deep, courageous feeling of trust and of admiration in this individual. Are there any questions? Thank you for your time. Y'all have a wonderful night.